We're still recording. We're still on, and we'll just as they do.
It was you.
It was me?
Yeah, it was definitely you.
That's so weird. Well, I moved just in case.
And now you're coming in so much better, too. Whatever happened is working better. Whatever
everybody's
happened,
clear.
you're coming in much better now. Okay, Justin, so can you tell us that again about the cancer? And sorry to make you repeat it, but...
Yeah.
No problem. Do you want me to just start over from the beginning, or
after you watched from the Cure, and then yeah, that works.
All right, no problem. So
okay, now what's that? It sounds like an air conditioner.
Yeah, Run from the Cure, the documentary with Rick Simpson talking about how extracts could fight cancer and control other diseases. And from that point, I just continued following the movement, talking to everybody that I could find who was reporting the use of these extracts. And it just, kept growing over the several years. And then it really culminated with the Sanjay Gupta documentary about the use of high CBD extracts to treat epilepsy, since that was the first time that there was a mainstream report of a higher level use of cannabis, not just very difficult to treat disease directly. So then I basically made the comprehensive report on the cannabis extract movement because I figured that result would raise all the other anecdotal evidence, which for sure had been discredited, but really give it a new air of legitimacy. So I created the report, which is the single largest integration of the scientific and anecdotal evidence showing how cannabis extracts fight cancer and control other diseases. So there's numerous medically documented terminal cancer remissions, as well as work from doctors, dispensaries, corporations, caregivers, and very deep analysis of the scientific evidence. And it's just overwhelming. It's actually in the 7th edition now because every few months there's just so many new stories or just new developments that it becomes out of date really fast. And in the time between 2008 and 2013, there would probably be a big event once every 4 to 6 months, and then after 2013 it was once every few weeks. It just has accelerated so dramatically, and I've really seen, for so long nobody has really believed that cannabis could directly fight cancer. It was very dismissed, but it's been so interesting seeing all these people who were skeptical really change their tone because they've seen how much it's grown to such massive levels. In fact, the Americans for Safe Access, which is one of the possibly the largest advocacy organization for medicinal cannabis in the United States, their new ASA Medical Professional of the Year, Dr. Jeffrey Hergenrather, is one of the leaders directly treating people with cancer using cannabis, and he's having amazing results. And it's overwhelming. Overwhelming.
Oh, I love it.
And did you come across COPD when you were doing that? Because I'm totally amazed by my recent patient, just totally. And I'm seeing
woman. I had one of the patients that we recently had right for the site that I'm with, this guy Jeff Waters. He was basically in the end stages of COPD. Yeah, Jeff. So he was in the end stages of COPD and has now completely reversed the condition with cannabis oil. And I've heard of a few other lung-related experiences as well. Definitely several lung cancers, other lung diseases, not too many, but those that are out there.
Justin, what state are you in?
The cannabis work in the system?
I'm in Baltimore, Maryland.
I'm in Baltimore also, Justin.
Uh-huh.
How does the cannabis work in the physical body? Does anybody know?
When it's digested, it gets metabolized by enzymes in the liver, specifically enzymes in the cytochrome P450 pathway, which metabolize a lot of other drugs, and then it enters the bloodstream. It exert a variety of receptor-independent effects, so it's just doing things, through modifying enzymes and similar things, but mainly it's attaching to the cannabinoid receptors. Many types of cells express varying levels of either CB1 or CB2 receptors, and cannabinoids attach to these receptors, either activate them or in some cases antagonize and this produces biological effects. So in the case of cancer, for example, many types of cancer cells actually develop more cannabinoid receptors than their healthy counterparts as an apparent defense mechanism, because endocannabinoids like anandamide, they can attach to the cannabinoid receptors and inhibit the cancers, as well as phytocannabinoids. So THC can, go into the liver cancer cell, attach and activate the CB2 receptor on that cell, and then activate the apoptosis or programmed cell death process. So that's basically how it works. And then that applies to a wide variety of other diseases. Like CB2 activation has a big role in mitigating a lot of inflammatory conditions like Crohn's disease, autoimmune. It's so widespread. It's crazy.
Do you know if it works on non-malignant tumors like lipomas, which are errant fatty cells?
It is supposed to treat the malignant tumors, yeah. I have cystic ovaries, and I use cannabis oil to treat my cysts.
Okay.
Very good. Well, this is why we have the Roll Up Radio Show, because it really is an exchange of a lot of information you don't hear on the fake stream media. One of the important reasons why, we do this is this is really a town hall meeting, because we speak to people all week long about these incredible stories. Matter of fact, Chris, who's on the line, he has a phenomenal story. And every week we have someone on who gives their own testimony. We don't pay anyone. We haven't paid anyone to come on this show and give some kind of testimony. These are authentic people, authentic stories with incredible results, in stark contrast to what the pharmaceutical companies are putting out, which are killing people by the thousands. So we definitely, and by the way, I just want to put this out there. I don't smoke marijuana. I don't. But I understand that it's important to connect the dots between the rights of individuals to treat themselves in the way that they want, free from tyranny, free from the government or so-called government, because the government really is the people who are in the place of the government and telling you what you can and cannot do with your bodies. It is also, my motivation that, according to the ACLU, this original analysis, marijuana arrests now account for over half of all drug arrests in the United States. Half of all drug arrests. And of the 8.2 million marijuana arrests, let me repeat that, 8.2 million marijuana arrests between 2001 and 2010, 88% were for simply having marijuana. Nationwide, the arrest data revealed one consistent trend, and this is that it's significant bias. So we're talking about disparity, disproportionality, and despite roughly equal usage rates, blacks are 4 times more likely than whites to be arrested for marijuana. So I was connecting the dots with what's going on in terms of the what I call the rebellion in Baltimore, and talking about what the faces of the majority of the people are looking like, who are shot, who are harassed, who are beaten. I'm not saying that whites are not. I'm not saying that poor people aren't. I'm not saying that there aren't class implications in all of this. But we cannot ignore the staggering numbers of people who are dark, who are black, who are incarcerated.
Truth is the truth. You got the numbers to back you on that one.
That's right.
There's no doubt about it. And that hurts the family unit, and that affects, and again, it'll circle back to the education part too for the kids, and not having that father there. And then when the kids, they learn the drugs,
they're arresting. Criminals. They are arresting women. They are arresting women at incredible rates now. I mean, you remember they're going after the women. So now the children are in foster care, and we know what happens when they go to foster care. Not good at all. Not good at all. So that's why it's important. That's why I want to thank everyone for being on this show. We are connecting the dots. We are about the community. We are about awareness. here at the GoPro Radio Network, and we thank each and every one of you for participating tonight. I'd like to ask Ann, is she still on? Did she call back in?
Yeah.
I can't see her.
Oh, yeah, she's here.
Okay, I would like to ask, and by the way, when you guys are on when you get on the mic, please let people know where you're from, because we want to let folks know that this is a national, matter of fact, it's an international experience, and we invite and encourage others to participate. What has been your experience with cannabis?
Anna?
Mine? Okay.
Yeah, he would.
What? Narrow it down just a little bit.
Just a little bit. Just a little.
Activism specifically?
Yes.
Why cannabis activism? Why cannabis activism, Anna? Why?
Why cannabis activism? Okay, so I have kind of a long story, but I'll make it short. So I went to St. Charles Community College when I was a freshman in college, and I was going through like a rebellious stage because I was like going to community college, but I still lived at home, so I'm like, oh, well, I still got to be a college kid because I'm living with my parents. Whatever. And then I saw a pot leaf on a piece of paper in my American government teacher's classroom, and he started talking about his Students for Sensible Drug Policy Club, and I'm like, I'm just going to do it just because, like, something to just do after school that my parents don't approve of, whatever, because I was a brat. And then after being in SSDP and eventually going to the conference, I just got involved in it, and after I started hearing about all the different things that drug policy covered, my views changed to focus on how important it really all was. How many branches it extended to. Like, for example, CBD oil, I didn't even know that was in existence probably more than 2 years ago. All the stuff that I have here now, I would have never paid attention to it. In fact, I think when I was a freshman in high school, I still believed in complete prosecution of people who use cannabis. And now after seeing all of the information, and when you really open your mind to it, you realize how reversed the situation is. So, how can you not get involved? Whenever you see something happening that you can change because of student groups like SSDP that empower students to make the change. I mean, they're giving you the tools, you just have to put forth the effort, and I think it's worth it. I mean,
Right. Oh, I commend you. I mean, and this is why, I'm involved in this issue. I'm involved in a lot of different issues because I see the connection, and I see why it's important for people to not be on the fence and say, well, I don't use, so this is not my issue. Or people who don't live in Baltimore and say, hey, that's happening in Baltimore, and try to pretend that what happened in Baltimore can't happen in New York, can't happen in L.A., can't happen in other places. I mean, we are all connected, and we have to be... Yeah, we have to be very, very careful about, marginalizing an issue that has an impact, that, matter of fact, have world implications, let alone national implications. People's right to...
What has happened in Baltimore has...
Police brutality and militarization
across the country.
That definitely needs to be targeted.
I mean, it's not a...
What'd you say, Tammy? Can you speak up?
In an effective way.
I said what has happened in Baltimore... has happened across the nation.
That's right.
We've all been affected. I mean, Detroit, the police killed a 7-year-old girl.
She was sleeping.
So this is bigger than just the killing.
The police are out of control, and they've been militarized.
I don't know if they're out of control. They've
been militarized, and the majority of their recruits come from
I'm not debating nor arguing that point. I'm saying I don't know if they are out of control as much as they are programmed.
Right.
For some simple reason, it repeats itself in each incident. We see the same kind of disregard, anger, and mismanagement of emotion toward a certain group of people. Now, there's no mystery to why there's so much incarceration. It is because jails are being privatized. It's an industry. It goes right back to finances again. Jails are being privatized. They are becoming corporations. and the inmates are thought of as inventory. So
Absolutely.
it's not a, oh, well, they're out of control. It is a deliberate process.
Oh yeah, it's only slave labor.
It is a deliberate process. And it is not only targeted toward African Americans, it is targeted toward those who don't have any money. And those who don't
I recently read an article that was
whites, no income whites,
exactly.
as well as African Americans, as well as Latinos.
An ex-police chief actually commented in an article, he was an ex-Maryland police chief, that in order to get more funding for their prisons and their area of town, their precincts, they would go to poverty-stricken areas because the drug transactions happen on the street instead of in the houses, and it's easier to target. And of course, it's, mostly black neighborhoods, and they rack up another 20 or 30 arrests, and then they can label their community as a crime-stricken community. And then they get more funds to help fight this crime that they themselves have created. So you're right, they're trained. They're trained to do these things for their companies.
Absolutely, absolutely. You're listening to the Roll Up Radio Show on the GoPro Radio Network, the fastest growing network in the galaxy. Go to www.goproradio.com. And we're on with a lot of folks from all over the nation here in the United States. Chris, are you with us? Because you've been quiet.
I want to say something before we get too far away from the subject.
Okay, shoot.
Tammy was talking about heroin being prolific. Well, how much is that is people picking up street drugs? And how much is that people created by the medical profession? They get hooked on the OxyContin. We do drug tests now. You test positive for marijuana, they cut you off cold. You've got somebody that...
I would say that's a white man's problem as opposed to the black community. Their heroin use comes from the streets as opposed to the addiction to the pharma drugs, go to the heroin, and then go back to the pharma drugs to get off the heroin. Because they don't have the money and resources to get all those painkillers. Tammy, what
kidding me?
I think heroin's a problem in a lot of places.
If you go, all you have to do is go to the emergency and say that something hurts, and lay there for 15 minutes. They will write you a prescription for oxycodone, OxyContin. They will give you anything that will make you nod.
It just makes them sick, but they would do that. They give it away like candy.
Huh?
Like, seriously.
You say what, Anna? What did you say?
I said they give that stuff away.
Yeah,
I said they give painkillers away like candy.
So that you can graduate to another step. There are a lot of these people who shoot. They grind these Percocets and OxyContin. They oxycodone. They grind it up and shoot it or sniff it. So there, it's a whole conspiracy toward everybody, including you. Vicodin. Go to the dentist. You have a toothache, you're going to get either Percocets, they're going to give you some Vicodin along with an antibiotic. And then after they extract or do whatever surgery, they're going to give you some more painkillers. And not 2 or 3, honey. They can give you 50 in one bottle at one time. Why does anybody need 50 Percocets or 50 oxycodone or OxyContin? Think about it. So that you can have more and need more.
I took Percocet once after a tooth extraction and dumped the rest of the prescription. All I know is I got up sometime in the middle of the night, and I think I fell in my kitchen because I had a couple of bruises. I sort of remember falling. But yeah, that was the end of that.
But Chris, continue about your theory about the heroin and the
Well,
pharmaceutical.
what I was curious to do is because, like, you know, in like Florida, Ohio is big for this now too. But there's pockets of this crap all over the country where they have the payments. The people get on the payments because they are in pain, but then they get too expensive for them to actually buy them. So then they start using this cheaper heroin on the streets.
Yeah, Julie, I think that's exactly what Chris is trying to say.
Well,
Yeah.
There's
And-
that. There's
but-
also the fact, well, like in my case, I was doing I was on a narcotic painkiller, Demerol, but then they switched me over to the OxyContin, and then they throw in the drug test 4 months later. So here I am, cut off. You know, do I turn to the streets, or do I try to become unaddicted? So
The real drug dealers. Bummer.
I went the cannabis route, and I managed to beat it. Same as
Stacy.
Stacy, yeah,
Stacy.
right. You know,
Great story. So, well,
they
to
bring you
circle
in,
back
they
to the
spoon
young
feed you, and
crowd
cut you off.
and the college campuses,
Where are we?
Justin and Anna, what do you think? Like if you to reach out on the college campuses, what do you think works best today? And do you really see protesting and things of that nature?
Justin.
Who were you speaking?
In my days, SSDP, like joining some kind of college group and doing an organized activity with them, SSDP really, I believe, is the highest quality organization that anybody who wants to make a difference with cannabis should join. Even more than normal, SSDP is the way to go. So
And the roll-up radio show.
Back in my day, we did some events like on the main like mall, like the mall of the campus, like the library. We did some things there. We did mainly, but it was holding events and then advertising those events well, so that people on the campus would come to the events and then be educated in an efficient way. So flyers.
What schools did you go to, Justin?
Is one of the most effective things that students can do to attract people to their
Breaking up
events.
really bad. Is that just me hearing?
I think that's Justin. His connection is
Okay.
pretty slow.
And Tammy asked you what school?
Well, I was at University of Maryland College Park. I've been graduated for very close to 2 years now. Essentially 2 years I've been graduated.
Thank you.
What I wanted to know was where were you doing your where was the activism taking place? What campuses were you apprising people about this movement?
I mean, it was all on the College Park campus. That's where I
Well,
went.
everything
for all
was at
4
University of
years.
Maryland? Okay.
Yes. It was a great school.
I know. I do some work with the University of Maryland. I'm a green activist. So I adopt lots. I'm a part of the
awesome.
Adopt a Lot program. And I do tree planting. Right now I have a new neighborhood.
Pro Radio, the roll-up radio show brings people together, even in the same state.
City too.
I've adopted some new lots in West Baltimore, in the Harlem Park area, Harlem Park Upton area, and I had some other lots that I had on Greenmount Avenue. So any trees that you see in the 2600 block of Greenmount Avenue or anything that's growing and blossoming is because I planted it.
Did you plant any hemp?
How?
Did
Would
you
you say
plant any
something?
I said you're amazing.
No, I'm a chicken heart, honey. I don't want to be part of that privatized system that I was speaking of earlier.
Yeah, really.
Yeah, right. But where are you guys?
I
In
did
Maryland,
plant
in terms of the
herbs, but they
laws,
weren't
in terms of the
cannabis.
law. I'm just saying, in terms of the laws, like where are you in Baltimore in terms of legalization? Is it legal for
Legalization
medical
has taken
reasons?
place in Washington, D.C., which is 50 miles away from Baltimore City.
Okay.
And it's like a thin line because Silver Spring is D.C., you know, or Lanham is D.C. So D.C. is surrounded by a lot of Maryland, but people frequent to D.C. Baltimore is working on their legalization. It's still in legislation. Supposedly they're not locking people up for $5 bags. And if they catch you with X amount of weed, then you get a ticket the first time, and then the next time, I don't know what the weights are. You get a ticket, and if you get a second offense, then you have to do criminalized. Go ahead.
Is that Justin?
So, Justin?
10 grams or less, he
I
said.
was just saying that it's 10 grams or less is decriminalized, so 10 grams or less.
Yes.
10 grams is illegal, and paraphernalia is illegal, so that was a kind of a loophole for the cops to use, but now there was a bill that was just passed or is literally on the governor's desk. I know it's passed the House and Senate to then decriminalize paraphernalia. So it's going to be decriminalized, for 10 grams or less. And then there's a medical bill that worked on by the Medical Marijuana Commission here in Maryland. So it's passed, but it needs to be implemented.
They don't have any
Our
dispensaries.
medical cannabis bill is it's not
What
going
happened to it?
Yeah,
It was
located
for a
in
while,
them.
but
Well, a lot of them are such a
I
mess.
was in
A
Ohio.
lot of them are such a mess.
Oh,
And
okay.
being,
Me?
from the South is difficult.
No, I'm in Missouri. Oh, Missouri. Sorry, Missouri. I'm sorry, Tammy. I'm in St. Louis, Missouri.
Yeah. Now, I wrote all those senators in Alabama myself today. I sent them pictures of from my COPD patients text. So you want to deny people this? I mean, think
So,
about
Julie,
that.
are you a medical physician?
No, I'm just a long-term cannabis user, and I get a lot of benefit from it. I got hit by a truck back in 1990, left me with all scar tissue in my upper back. I deal with a lot of chronic pain, and I've always used cannabis. And if I didn't have a high resistance to painkillers, I might have gone down that pharmaceutical route like Chris did. But they didn't work on me, and it never occurred to me to double and triple up at the time. And I'm glad I didn't think of that one.
Good for you.
I'm just a long-term user, and
So,
I've learned
Chris,
a
how
lot.
are you doing now?
Excuse me?
I said, how are you doing now?
I'm doing amazing. I still have the problems that I had to begin with, but I'm not taking I forget what we figured out, the 9 or 10 pills that I was taking before, seizure medicine, mood depressors, mood enhancers, painkillers, muscle relaxers,
Heart medicine.
blood pressure medicine.
Have you thought about incorporating a nutrition regime that could very well help you with juicing?
I actually did that. It all kind of occurred at the same time. I quit the pills. I started using the cannabis oil. I changed my diet drastically. Went to a hunter-gatherer type diet with a big part of it was a hemp smoothie I had every morning, and it was amazing. So they don't have their hooks in me anymore.
Yay!
I'm glad. Congratulations.
Well, thank you.
I'm upset that our medical marijuana bill didn't get very far, but it was so restrictive that it killed it, and then a new one emerged, and the new one was so vague that there's no way it's going to get anywhere. It was just a disaster.
It's crazy. I'm keep up on this stuff across the nation the best I can, and I say to people sometimes, it's like, why do we keep fighting on these stupid medical bills? It's like, we're going to cover this, we're going to cover that. And you fight, like PTSD.
It's a war. It's a war. It is a war. It is not a democratic process.
We have that.
It's all about money.
It's a war against people, not drugs, people.
That's right.
People.
Go ahead.
But
That's
where
right.
did Justin go? Because I had something to say pertaining to his earlier point.
I think his connection got dropped.
Yeah. Until he comes back. So, and he was talking about CBD oils. I mean, the medical marijuana bill didn't really go anywhere, and it's not really going to go anywhere. That didn't happen, but the CBD oil, that's a different story that actually is having some decent success. So the last time I was on here, I was talking about how restrictive it was because it only covered intractable epilepsy. And then 2 cultivators, which, by the way, they just got their licenses, and so they're going to start producing for distribution and that kind of stuff. But it's still very restrictive. I think about 950 people in the entire state get it. So that's not a lot of people. And I, just tabling outside today at our spring fling at our community college fair, I met 2 people that spoke to me that told me that they had epilepsy, but it was not intractable, and so they could not use it. But the bill that expands the entire program in a multitude of ways. Is it okay if I think about this for a minute?
Sure.
This is one thing I did want to talk about. It expands the illnesses legally treatable with CBD oil to not nearly enough, but a pretty good amount. So, cancer, HIV/AIDS, amyotrophic lateral sclerosis, I'm not good at this, Parkinson's, multiple MS, spinal cord damage, inflammatory. So basically everything that Justin was talking about before, this bill covers it.
The COPD on there?
Yeah. Is it? I don't know. I'm sure. I'll actually have to look that one up. But and it'll go from 2 dispensaries to 10, the limit. And so that's going to be really good because that's going to lower the prices because, hold on just a minute.
Oh, while she's looking at it, we only have 7 minutes left. You are listening to the Roll Up Radio Show on the GoPro Radio Network. Yeah. And is Justin back?
No, sorry guys, my family was fighting in the background.
Connection.
Oh, okay. Well, we're down to the last 7 minutes. I just want to thank everybody for being a part of this program. I want to encourage others to, join us. And it's a free program. And you go to www.oodoo.com and be a guest, and you can chime in and share your story, share your experiences, and so that we can continue to grow this community. We've had some very, very fascinating folks on here. Jules, you want to tell them who we had on the show? We even had a military person in the military, Bobby Nuggs. He'll be with us next week. Am I correct?
No. Next week we have Rebecca Forbes is going to come back, and we're going to hear her full story of her experience with cannabis, including her curing her own cancer. So she's got quite her own story, and she's been a long-time activist over there in North Carolina, an illegal state, as we all know. And then the week after that, we're going to have Justin Miller, who is the caregiver of that 81-year-old woman who has COPD, as well as many other ailments that were miraculously disappeared. I mean, when she went to her doctor, the doctor's like, well, where did 30 years of psoriasis go? It's just like it's gone. It's amazing, and they're doing all kinds of tests. And then the following week, Bobby will be with us again.
Fantastic. Yeah, he's always there.
Tyler.
Before you ask that question, Julie, before you ask that question, we're going to be at a new time, right? Next week, we're going to start at 9 o'clock.
Next week, I thought we were starting at June 1st.
I thought it was May 1st. Okay, well, you might be correct.
Oh, no, I'll be happy to do it next week.
Let's do it May 1st. May 1st.
Let's talk about it offline, okay?
Okay, gotcha.
Anna, that bill that you were talking about, where is it at right now? What's the next step?
Passed in the Senate 26-8.
And then what's next?
It goes to the other house, and if they approve it, then it goes to Governor Nixon. Then it either sits, he signs, or he kills it. So,
what's your feeling on what has he said?
I think it'll pass. I think the other house will approve it, and I think it'll sit. honestly, and then just be passed into a law. I don't think Governor Nixon, I should address him properly, Governor Nixon's going to act on that. Really, just because his past with cannabis policy has been slightly shady, like Jeff Mazansky right now. I have a little update on him, too. HB 978, that was the bill that would basically allow Jeff Mazansky's case to be pardoned by the governor. So that was unanimously voted to pass by the House Select Committee on Judiciary, and it was amended, so he actually can't get off completely free, but it'll at least allow his hearing to be heard by the parole board, and based on his circumstances, it does give him a pretty good chance. So they just kind of added one more step in there before it was just like, okay, you're free. It's just like, okay, happy Hunger Games, go for it. But he does have a fairly decent case, so I would say, considering it's on his 21st year of life sentence for marijuana-only nonviolent offenses.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Okay, we're down to 3 minutes.
But Show Me Cannabis does a lot of that work. I had to mention them because
Tell us a little bit about Show Me Cannabis. You know what? We have 3 minutes left. We already told them coming next week.
Well, why don't we say how about people should be calling Governor Nixon and advising him to pass this CBD bill. Call Maryland Governor
and all the other
Hogan.
bills that are going to.
Exactly.
Go to showmecannabis.com. It's
Hey, what's
all
the
there.
number?
It's
Where are you
the
located?
most inclusive website. It's amazing. They're such a good organization. They work so hard. Yeah,
Where are
they're
you located,
awesome.
Julie?
I'm in
Sorry?
Southern California.
Oh, okay. And where are you, Chris?
I'm Michigan, Southwest Michigan.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, me, Summer, and Chris, we're all in legal
And Summer,
states.
you're
We don't
in
think we
Missouri?
have it that easy.
I'm in
I am.
Southern California as well.
Oh, okay.
And of course, I'm in New York.
Yeah, I know, Talon.
And Justin, where are you?
Congratulations on your new studio.
Thank you so much, and thank you for joining us. And
Yeah,
thank
that is
you.
really nice.
Yeah. I would love
That's
you
awesome.
to join us here and do something here at GoPro. You seem very well informed and concise, and you're really clear on a lot of the issues. And I would just love to have, because this is what GoPro is all about. We want to provide a safe space for people to be authentic and have a voice, and have a voice unfiltered.
I have a radio program that's on hiatus, and it sure is looking for a home. It's called
There you
Woman
go.
Power Talk with Tam E. Hunt.
Look out, man! Watch out! Coming to GoPro Radio.
And I bring stars to the camera.
There you go. Well, we definitely got to talk. You can reach me at tylon@goproradio.com, and that's for all the listeners. If you have any questions, comments, or concerns, if you'd like to join us, if you want more information, because the show is growing and it's growing fast. Am I right, Julie?
Julie?
Like a
We're our
Yes,
Facebook page.
I got an
we're
email
in the
from
thousands.
Justin. Okay, just so you know, I got an email from Justin, and he was trying to restart. And he said he's terribly frustrated because it happened at this time. But
Yeah. Well, we have 1 minute left.
we tried to eliminate tech issues by getting rid of Blog Talk, but it's the internet.
Thank you, everybody. It was great to meet everyone. Talon,
Thank you for
and
joining us.
It was nice to meet you.
nice
good luck
Tammy.
with your
Thank you.
bill. I hope it goes through for you. It
Thank
will.
you. We'll work
Caroline, I
together.
gave you my number in the chat. Please call
Okay.
me after the show.
Absolutely, we'll do.
All right.
Okay.
Thank you.
You're welcome. All right, we're at the end.
Bye, Tammy.
Guys, you can
Bye-bye,
play the
baby.
song, Sweet Sensei. Oops.
Play the song. All right, bye guys.
This is from Fortunate Youth here in California. Hi, Anna. I feel better in my thoughts. Stop recording, Chris.
Hey,
Yeah. Here we
that
go.
was good.
Click here to stop. I think it's, number